Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Big Ten Under 10 on the Hoosier Network. Adam Oppenheim, Graham Nash back at you today talking women's sports. We have a stacked slate, so let's start on the court with basketball. Tons more matchups in non-conference play in the past week. We are going to bring you the scores from top 25 matchups along with other big games. The highest ranked team in the Big Ten, number 3 USC, rolled past Santa Clara at home, 81-50. Number 5 UCLA did play a Power 5 team and took care of business, winning 101-52 over Arkansas. 11th ranked Maryland defeated Towson easily, 98-63. For the 12th ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, they scraped by Belmont on the road, winning 67-63. 21st ranked Nebraska dominated on the road against South Dakota, 113-70. The Cornhuskers did the same at home against North Alabama, winning 85-48. Number 22 Illinois beat up on two non-con opponents. They blasted Eastern Illinois 84-37 and Lemoyne 94-25. Ranked 23rd in the nation, the Oregon Ducks took down Grand Canyon 70-54 on Monday. Lastly, now unranked Indiana knocked off number 25 Stanford at home 79-66. Graham, let's first start off talking about Indiana's big win against Stanford.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, they lost at home to Brown, went on to the road, lost to Harvard, they lost at home, and then went on the road and lost to Butler. So two back-to-back pretty bad wins. That's not what you want if you're the Indiana Hoosiers. So beating a ranked team just in general is huge, but to beat a Stanford team that just destroyed them last season, that is a huge sign for this Indiana team. It really felt like the Hoosiers earlier in the season, they were trying to maybe slow down play so that they could give their guards some rest. Lene Beaumont and Lexus Bargesser, they're injured. They're not playing. Those are two important guard pieces for this Indiana team. And so I think they were trying to give Chloe Moore-McNeil and Shea Chesky a little more time to take a breather. But this game against Stanford, they knew they had to come out firing, and they did that. They were just pushing the pace the entire time. They didn't turn over the ball, which was huge. I think they were averaging 20 turnovers a game.
Not very good.
Not very good. So clearly there is now an emphasis on, okay, we know that our players are going to be tired, but let's push through. And as a result, Chloe Moore-McNeil had 21 points, which her previous season high this season was 10. So they clearly wanted her to get going, and they did, and they won a big game.
Now, any other Big Ten teams you want to talk about?
I think UCLA is a big one to talk about. 5th ranked in the country. They kind of take a back seat to USC, especially because of how good the Trojans are. But they played a Power 5 team. They played a team that we actually know the name of. So I think that's pretty important to note. And they killed Arkansas. So I think that UCLA, again, they kind of take a back seat to USC, even to some of these other Big Ten teams. But they're good. Don't sleep on the Bruins.
Absolutely. Do not sleep on the Bruins. So let's keep it on the hardwood with volleyball. Once again, we would just highlight the top 25 matchups in the scores. The second-ranked team in the nation, Nebraska, breezed through another couple matches. They beat Minnesota 3-1 and defeated Indiana 3-0, with both battles coming at home. Penn State, ranked 4th in the country, claimed a straight-set win against Illinois and won 3-1 on the road in College Park against Maryland. The 6th-ranked Wisconsin Badgers were on the road for their last two matches. But that was no problem, breezing through 21st-ranked USC 3-0 and UCLA 3-1. Number 8 Purdue swept Rutgers in straight sets at home, then followed that up by winning another match 3-0 versus Illinois. 13th-ranked Oregon Ducks beat Northwestern 3-1, but then ended up dropping a 5-set match at number 21 USC. Graham, we turn back to you, but you're not here. You're at the big board breaking down some film. What do you got?
Thanks so much, Adam. We've talked a lot this season about Nebraska volleyball and how dominant they are. I got 3 clips to just kind of break down a little bit more for us why they're so good. Here's the first clip that we've got from Nebraska volleyball. This is their win against Indiana. This is insane. Andy Jackson, she's the middle. This is her first kill. This is her first real shot at action on the night. But a hard set from Bergen Riley, the setter. She's moving towards the net, has the impressive ability to not fall into it. But look at how high Andy Jackson is. This is my first point. Nebraska, they're just athletic. They will out-jump you. They'll out-hit you. And the middle and the defenders for Indiana, they have no shot. You can go ahead and finish this clip. Boom. Straight over the top. I mean, no one's guarding that. So we'll go on to our second clip. This shows you a little bit more of the strategy from this Nebraska side. Once again, it's going to be for the middle. Rebecca Alec This is called a slide set where the middle goes around the setter, once again, Bergen Riley, and just look at what it does to the defense. The Indiana middle totally lost, thought this ball was coming this way, or to a back row attacker in Harper Murray, which is ironically going to be our next clip. And so it isolates Candela Alonso Corcelis on the outside completely alone, and we can just end up showing you what happens here. Once again, right down the line, not much you can do. So we foreshadowed a little bit this last clip. It's going to be Harper Murray. So if we get a pause there, Bergen Riley again. Now, Harper Murray, she's in the back row. So what's so dangerous about this is the outside for Minnesota going this way to protect against this last play we just saw, the slide. The right side coming over to guard against the former Big Ten Player of the Year on this side. But why not give it to Harper Murray, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, coming from the back row. And this middle is just isolated, completely and totally isolated. Go ahead and finish off this play. Solo block, nothing you can do there. We'll get a second look at it from a different down the line angle here. If we go forward a little bit, yep, go ahead and play it. And pause right there. Over this way, over that way, middle's isolated. Harper Murray taking flight. There's just nothing you can do about it. One huge hole here, one huge hole here. She has her choice, and she's just going to go straight down this gap. Go ahead and play it. I mean, you're just not going to beat the Nebraska team when they're rolling like that. So, once again, Nebraska clearly the front runner in the Big Ten teams, but still a lot of room. Wisconsin's a good team. Penn State is a good team. So, it's going to be interesting how it all shakes out. Adam?
That was some great analysis, Graham. Let's switch over to the field and talk women's soccer. There were 10 Big Ten teams who made the NCAA tournament for women's soccer. And after round one, 9 of those teams are still in. Let's get you the scores. 5th seed Michigan State defeated Western Michigan 3-1. The top seed, number 1 USC, crushed Sacramento State 5-0. The other 5 seed, the Wisconsin Badgers, beat Maine 3-1. 3rd seed Iowa held on against Missouri State 2-1, while the other 3 seed Ohio State won 4-1 against James Madison. Number 2 seed UCLA had a scare. They won 2-1 in double overtime against California Baptist. 6th seeded Minnesota took down South Dakota State 2-0. And 4th seed Penn State demolished Stony Brook 8-1. An upset for Washington as they beat 8th seed Utah State in PKs. Lastly, the only team that lost was 6th seed Rutgers, who fell to UConn 2-1. That is the only team who lost in the Big Ten. Graham, what are your thoughts on round one of the tournament and heading forward?
Yeah, honestly, not too surprised with Rutgers falling off. I thought maybe they would be one of the early teams to drop off. They had a great tournament run. It was a little bit of a Cinderella story in their Big Ten tournament, but they just don't have the firepower to match up with some of these other teams. And they beat a great USC team, had to do it in PKs, and then just kind of got crushed, if we're being honest, by UCLA. So not too surprised by that result. Huge shout out to Rutgers. They had a great season, a fantastic tournament run. But then USC, they look scary. I mean, I think we can just say that much. Like, the Trojans are on fire. After losing in the Big Ten tournament, they wanted to win that inaugural Big Ten tournament with the expansion and the addition of new teams. So I think they're a team to watch out for. They're the number 1 seed, so the NCAA clearly thinks that they have firepower. So I think they're a team to watch out for.
Now, if you had a second team to pick out of the Big Ten after USC, who would you pick to go far?
Probably the Bruins still. They narrowly escaped, but you have those type of games. I mean, that's going to happen. They had 13 shots, 5 on target, so they just struggled a little bit to create. But I think the Bruins, they're a great team. They've been a great team for a long time. I think they're going to be able to reassess, regroup, and then attack this bracket.
So the top 2 teams really all year long in women's soccer, USC and UCLA, you're going to stick with the top dogs. Yeah. Field hockey will be our final sport for today. We had 3 Big Ten teams in NCAA tournament action this past week. Let's get you the scores. On Friday, 2 of those Big Ten teams got knocked out in the first round. The Maryland Terrapins were defeated by the Duke Blue Devils 1-0, and the Michigan Wolverines lost to the Virginia Cavaliers 2-1. Last team standing in the Big Ten was, of course, the 2nd seed Northwestern Wildcats. They rolled past Miami of Ohio 9-2 in the first round. And then the Wildcats advanced to the semifinals, beating Virginia 3-2 in overtime. Next up for Northwestern, they face UMass on Friday for a chance to advance to the NCAA championship game on Sunday. And that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Special thanks to our producer, Colin Dusek, graphics creator, Daniel Trauberman, and our teleprompter, Jesse Witt. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at B1G_under10. and check back in for our next episode, a special of Big Ten Under 10.